Boxy recording, everything good.
So good.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
I'm gonna do
So
a.
good.
I'm gonna do a throwback to our first couple episodes. All right. Let's get this thing going.
That's a throwback. I thought that was just an every episode
That's just
thing.
what-
Hey, I haven't done that for quite a while.
Are you sure?
Well, I just did. But anyway, yes, we're gonna get this sucker rocking.
Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Sam's sick.
This is
I'm all right, thanks so.
This is episode, what are we at, 13 of the Life Short-Lived Free podcast.
Everybody crying.
And
I'm not crying.
do I
Good on
sound
you,
like I'm in a
Box.
bad mood? Yeah, like I said, episode 13. This is sponsored by Shyworks, certified Cerakote applicator. And yeah, we just got out from doing our
Range day.
bi-weekly range day. It wasn't a competition. It was just a training day. But of course, I woke up this morning. I looked out the window and it was nice and sunny and glorious.
Whenever you say
and
training day, I get excited. I just want to watch the movie.
I've never actually seen the movie.
Never seen the movie.
Nope.
Denzel actually plays a bad dude. You know, not
Yeah.
like a, well, I guess he turns out, it's been a while since I've seen it, but he's a bad dude, wasn't he? He was kind
It
of a
could be debated.
he was kind of a crooked cop.
Yeah,
He'd been on the
be
force
debated.
too long, we'll say. Anyways, wow, that went. God, okay. Anyways, so of course it was. I looked outside and it was nice and sunny and glorious. Felt warm. Then we got out to Johnson's and it's like freaking Hurricane Katrina out
And
there.
then you get outside of city limits where the wind can actually blow. And
Yes.
sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
Felt warm. What time did you get up?
I don't know.
It's like 40 degrees.
I went out. I went and let chickens out
9:30-ish.
at. Well, yeah. I went out and let chickens out at like 7:30, and it was pretty chilly, pretty
Wow.
frigid. It wasn't terrible. I mean, and it
But-
warmed up fairly quick.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. It was just windy as hell. But that's pretty much par for the course on our range days. It's gonna be shitty. It doesn't matter if it was 72 and sunny and 3 mile an hour breeze all week on Sunday. It'd be like 60 and 47 mile an hour winds with
Or 130
drizzling
degrees
rain.
and
maybe a
98% humidity
maybe a
or-
splash of hail in there every now and
Right.
then, and then the humidity'd spike and it'd get up to like 85 and all in one day.
Yep.
That's just kind of par for the course. But yeah. Anyways, it was just like a little training day. Did some drills and nothing too outlandish or anything. But what'd you guys?
It was a pretty eye-opening day at the range today.
I hated every second of it.
Yeah, it was.
It was all your idea too.
Well, I mean, we definitely need those days, but that's one thing I wanted to talk about today. Like, we trained, and that one drill what's that? The 1-3-1 drill or whatnot?
2-6-6-6-2
Okay,
or the what? What are you?
That-
I don't
the-
know what drill you're talking
The
about.
Little-
two little circles and the one big
Yeah.
one.
all right,
Yeah.
that one
2-6-6-6-2.
totally kicks our ass. But you're training to shoot like a dot this big.
It's 2-inch
like-
circle. That's
It's an important skill actually to be able to hit that. But I'm just like when we're shooting cardboard targets, like, you know, we're always getting good hits on them and shit, you know, even if we aim up here and we hit down here or whatever. Like how important is it to be able to nail a little 2-inch circle as opposed to just have what they call practical accuracy? You know, you can hit the A zone and that's good enough. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, and I think that comes down to, it's going to improve. You know, obviously aim small, miss small, is the saying.
Right.
And the more you train at shooting a small target, the better your practical accuracy is going to be, because you've trained for shooting such a small target that when you have a big target to hit, you're
Right.
going to place a lot more accurate hits on target.
Right.
And you can also, you know, have a lot more confidence at shooting quickly if you've trained for shooting a small target. When you go to shoot a bigger target, you can shoot a lot faster because you know the fundamentals of that accuracy is going to be there.
Sure. Right.
And shooting something small like that, it shows you exactly where you're going wrong too. If your trigger press isn't just right or your grip's a little bit off, it really shows that rather than just shooting at a big square.
Yeah.
So how'd your day go, Box? How'd you feel about
I don't want to talk about it.
I felt pretty good with mine. Like when we had all those holes in the A zone, and I wasn't really sure where I was going to hit, and I was just decided to go for the heads.
Yeah.
Did double tap all 3 targets in under 4 seconds. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, and I tried to mess with it today a little bit, is my grip sucks.
Yeah.
And I've really been trying to work on it. But the thing is like, so you can think you have a good grip when you're dry firing in your house. But once you actually get the recoil involved, it's like, I got big hands, and it's almost like my hands aren't big enough.
Yeah.
Or my one hand's it's interfering with my other hand or something,
Yeah.
But it just, I need to really work on my grip.
Yeah.
How aggressive is texture on that Canic that you shoot?
It's not super aggressive, and that's one of the things I was thinking of maybe getting. They make a grip tape for it.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking about getting some of that.
Who makes
So-
that?
Talon.
Talon.
I thought so. Yeah.
It's basically sandpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
They
like
make
the
rubberized
rubberized
shit,
version's
too.
way better.
Yeah.
I had that.
That's
I don't remember what I had that
I
on.
don't
had that
think
on the
that does
Glock.
that much for your grip though.
No.
I think you had that on that. You had a 26, didn't you?
I mean, well, and
That little
having
fat
Yeah.
one. I
that
think that's
grip
what that was
tape will help, but it's still not gonna fix the fundamentals of your grip. You know what I mean? You still need to have the fundamentals of a good grip
Yeah.
figured out.
Yeah.
And for me, like dry firing, it obviously helps with like your anticipation and stuff, but like getting your grip figured out on that first shot out of holster, you need to like practice, draw,
And
fire
getting
on
your grip,
target,
and getting
you
your,
know.
and that's one thing.
getting your grip from the draw. That's my biggest issue right now.
Yeah.
Is getting your good grip from the draw and getting on.
Well, I don't have an issue when I can stand here in the shop, and get my grip like I like it. But
Right.
a lot of times when you're in a hurried up, out of the holster.
Yeah.
Well, I got freaking slide bite today, just because it gets up a little bit higher than it's supposed to get.
And you ride that release catch like nobody I've ever met in my life.
Well, I can't. There's nothing I can do about it.
He's
I
got a
just-
special thumb.
I can't.
Is
This
that what it
this
is?
thumb it's my right thumb, and it just freaking works over there, and I don't know what else to do about it because that's how you're supposed to be
Do
gripping.
you need
and-
like a beaver tail on your knuckle of your left hand so your right thumb can't slide over that? Or
Well,
maybe I don't know.
and I don't have that. I guess I don't have that issue, but my right thumb just kind of hangs out.
yeah, that's what mine does.
Doesn't really. It's not even close to the pistol. Like when I'm, I get that, roll this wrist over and have that thumb pointing forward, but this thumb just kind of hangs out.
But mine just
It doesn't really do anything. I don't try
I don't
and
have any pistols in here, but
I don't try and grip it with my right thumb. I'm
Well,
not
here,
trying
I'll
to press
show
it
you.
over. I just kind of hangs out.
this is just like the way that
I don't
I
have
grip.
any pistols in here. Reach up above a shelf.
The way that I grip is just like this, and that it's there. It's just
Just let it hang
free
off the
floating.
side.
Yeah, but it wants to work back
Yeah.
because when I'm gripping everything, when I grip this thumb just inadvertently wants to go towards the gun, and there's where the frickin'
Yeah, I wonder if that's because I don't know all about it, obviously, because I'm not an expert, but I know there's something that you can drive with your thumb. You're aiming with that thumb, pressing and moving, because like where this part of your thumb, the inside of that thumb where it contacts the frame of the pistol, you can start pushing the back end of that gun to the right, which points at muzzle left,
yeah. I don't know. We need to get some professional direction,
help.
I believe.
I've
So
always
what
said
else,
that about you, Sam. You need professional help.
What else y'all do this week?
Well, I spent a lot of time taking care of my dog here. The shop mascot, the door greeter. She cost me a pretty penny this week. But well, it started a couple months ago. She was you guys remember like 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
She was really, really sore. We just thought she was getting arthritis, and she had a sore, because she played fetch really hard that previous day. So I went to the vet, and because she was pretty bad that Monday, the following after the podcast. So we went to the vet, and he thought That's what it was, arthritis and some muscle damage or whatever. So I gave her some anti-inflammatory, and the next day, she was back to her normal self. We had about 2 weeks supply of that shit, and she was perfectly fine for those 2 weeks. Hell, it seemed like a couple of years had been taken off her life, or back. She's younger. And then so we finished up the medicine, and the following day she was fine. The next day she was starting to get a little bit sore. The third day she was horrible, and then that morning I woke up Monday morning and she couldn't walk at all. Like, I mean, I had to physically pick her up, take her outside, to go potty, and I had to balance her and hold her up. So I never did get her to go to the bathroom that morning. So I ended up taking her over to the vet, and there was a different vet this time, a female doctor, and she examined her, and if you touched her, she tried to give her an examination. Jixer was kind of laying down and just touched her front leg, just kind of barely lifted up, and Jixer just screamed, let out hurt our ears. So she knew something else was going on rather than just that shit. So
Right.
they ran a smorgasbord of tests. They gave her X-rays, blood, took her blood, took a blood sample and sent it off to be screened for what they call a tick-borne illness. She's thinking at this point that Jix was bit by a tick at some point, and whether it's Lyme disease or there's other shit it could be too. But she had to stay overnight and everything, and picked her up the next morning, and that bill was to the tune of about $700. But
Cool.
yeah, that freaking sucks. But I got my dog back at this point, so I was happy to pay it. So I will know this week whether it's a tick-borne illness or what the hell it is, and then 2 weeks we'll go back and kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm just happy she's back to feeling like herself. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I made some knives this week.
I saw those. Those are some real fancy looking knives.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty.
I like the second one better than the first one.
I like the second one better than the first one too. I like the first one in the fact that it's a lot thicker blade, and it's a higher carbon content steel, so it sharpens up and holds an edge. The second one, actually, I was bored, and the steel that I ordered hasn't gotten here yet, so I was looking around the farm for something I could use, and I don't have a forge yet or anything like that, so I was using a propane heater, and I just set it on a little grate just right above it to heat treat it, and it worked fine. But that knife was one of my old chainsaw bars, so which was real fun to pry apart. But they're fairly high carbon content. They have to be for the stress you put on them. So I was reading on some of the forums I follow that they make a decent knife. So it turned out pretty decent. I mean, I could do some more sanding on it and whatnot, but it's just kind of a fun hobby right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
The handle on the first one, I was like, oh my. The second one looked a lot better. It looked like a normal knife handle. That first one, I was like, what kind of? It looked more like your.
Well, it was way better than his hatchet handle he had going on.
Well, yeah.
But that's really not saying much.
I actually
Right.
might mess with that tonight.
No, leave that sucker the way it is. That way, when you get when you get really good at knives and you have, you're turning out some badass knives, you can look back at that and be like, wow,
Yeah.
What was I smoking?
Don't make this again.
You mean I really took a 2x2 and rounded off the end and jammed it in an axe head and said it was good?
It wasn't a 2x2, it was a 1x2.
Oh, even better.
Which I had to sand on for a very long time. But no, I've got the material I used for the handle for that second knife, the one you like. That was my girlfriend's dad had given me this like medieval axe thing that his kid had bought at some con or something years ago.
Yeah.
Well, the blade is just horrible. I mean, it's a decoration piece, but the handle was solid hickory.
Yeah.
And so I chopped the handle off and
use that.
Cut it, and which trying to cut scales for a handle without actually owning a scroll saw or a bandsaw and using a chop saw, it does not work all that freaking great.
I've got a scroll saw. Do you want it?
Yeah.
It's not I don't use it anymore. I mean, it may have been submerged.
Does it work?
As far as I know, I don't know. I haven't used it.
may have been
I haven't used it.
submerged.
It was one I had
AKA it was
used
in your
for.
basement?
Yeah, it was one I used for cutting holsters before I had a bandsaw, and then I just set it down under my bench, and it got wet, and I haven't touched it since. So
Well-
I'm assuming it still works. I don't know why it wouldn't.
Plug her in. If she works, I'll take her.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't, I've got some really good electrical cleaner shit that we can probably, if the brushes are corroded or something, we can get it
Make
running
it work.
again.
Yeah, because I'm probably pick up a drill press this week and actually try to make some nice knives.
Yeah.
I ordered 6 feet of, what was it? 6 feet 1/4 inch, 1095 high carbon steel that's already been annealed. So
Sweet.
So, did you guys hear about that homeowner that shot the burglar?
I did
Not,
hear about
not
that.
the burglar. The
Burglar?
burglar.
Not the burglar.
So what
Burglar
happened
and the
was this
Boogaloo?
dude, I don't remember where he was from. But he he heard an intruder that night, got up middle of the night. Some dude was I don't remember if it was on his property or in his house, ended up shooting him. And then the guy ran off, and the dude just went back to bed. So he didn't call the cops, nothing. And so the next day he wakes up.
Screw it, I'm going to bed.
All right. The next day he wakes up and he looks out in the yard and he sees what he thought was like a bag out there in the yard or whatever. He's, better go investigate. Well, it was the dude he shot him in the back of the neck or something like that, and he'd been dead, since just after he shot him. So, but I mean, like, what the dude? Somebody breaks into his house. The guy shoots him. And it's like, well, whatever. Like, what kind of nerves does this guy have that he can just go back to sleep, man? I can't
Just go tip back over.
I can't sleep if I'm watching a freaking exciting movie before bedtime. And this guy literally shoots somebody.
Not
And it's
even an exciting movie. Like, Full House and Sam's up all night.
yeah, shit. Yeah, man. That is some touching stuff.
did he get arrested then, or?
Yeah, he did end up getting arrested. I don't remember what for.
Probably shooting a guy in the back.
No, well, I can't remember if you give me a minute, I can pull up.
I just want to know, like, what was going through his head? Like, was the guy hammered drunk and not realize that he had just smoke checked some dude and was like, screw it, I'll go back to, like, did he think he didn't hit him?
I think
Just
that's probably the
shot,
case.
thinking he was going to scare him off and the guy was running away, so he was like, I didn't hit him, and just went back to bed.
So it was a 72-year-old dude. The guy was in the
72?
He was in his house around, well, it says he confronted the burglar around 5 a.m. and he was armed with a pickaxe.
Burglar.
You just shut up. Let me talk how I talk.
Burglar.
The suspect allegedly walked towards the homeowner, at which time the homeowner shot. The homeowner then fired another shot into the night after the man dropped the pickaxe and fled toward the park behind his home. The homeowner then returned to bed. Then he went and found him or whatever. So the police arrived to find the suspect was deceased with a gunshot wound to the back of the neck. So I would assume that the initial shot he missed, and then when he was fleeing away, which is
When he was running away.
a massive no-no.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah, somebody
assume
is
that's
running away. You don't just.
I assume that's what he got shot.
Another
for.
thing, it's one thing for this to happen at like midnight and then go back to bed, but at 5 a.m. and go back to bed, pretty much up for the day at that point.
Oh yeah, like even like
just start my day off with a friendly little shooting and then
My alarm's
back to
gonna
bed.
go off in a half hour.
Yeah.
I better just get back to sleep.
catch
Yeah,
those
even-
last few Z's.
even when we have like a fire call at night and you get home at like 4, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're just
you're
out.
done. But yeah, so I mean, I can understand when there's so much adrenaline flowing. Somebody's coming towards you with a pickaxe, you shoot at him. The guy, I'm sure, just turned around and ran, and he probably shot right away again. You're not thinking this guy is running away from me. You're just thinking,
Right.
But that has to do with training too. You
And-
need to be thinking of these things before something like this happens. Because if that guy's charged with, I don't know what he'd be charged with, manslaughter or murder. that's going to affect, obviously, the rest of your freaking life. You could spend a lot of fucking time in jail because of some stupid decision you made because you never thought about the consequences of your actions before you picked up, before this ever happened.
Do you think the fact that he was 72 years old had any effect on this?
I do, just because, that generation is that's a completely different generation, and they view
Different train of thought.
right,
Maybe.
and
Maybe he's just an old guy that doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
could be.
I know a couple of those.
His give a fucker broke about 10 years back.
Yeah.
right.
Little punk ass, get off of my grass.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing that you got to think about. Once somebody's running away, you're done. Once you can only defend your life up until the point that the threat is done, and once the threat's done, you can't do. There's nothing. You're done.
Right.
Call the friggin' cops. Call a lawyer. Do what you have to do. But you need to be thinking of these things before something like this happens and screws up literally the rest of your well, in this guy's case, probably the rest of his freaking life.
Yeah.
72.
So, my guess is, like you said, he shot 2 rounds not in rapid succession, but kind of 2 shots within 5 seconds is my guess.
Right.
And he missed the first one, and then the kid was running away or had turned or whatever, shot and clipped him. And I'm guessing at 5 a.m. it was probably fairly dark, and he didn't see the kid tip over or whatever.
Right.
And just thought he had missed and.
Well, yeah, you're probably right.
You're still obviously responsible for calling the cop. Anytime you discharge a firearm in self-defense, you should probably be calling the cops.
Oh, absolutely.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's kind of the ground rules.
If it was so dark that he couldn't tell if he hit him, he shouldn't have been shooting at him in the first place.
Yeah.
But if he couldn't tell he hit him, why wouldn't you go check if you hit him?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions there. Like,
well,
I don't know. It doesn't seem right that you could, and especially just going back to sleep. I don't get it.
There's not
a gunfight. I'm gonna go back to bed.
When you had a big day the next day, all right.
When you buy a gun, there's not a check to see how intelligent you are. That's not a prerequisite to to purchase a firearm. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. That guy, he probably screwed up. Like I said, probably screwed up the rest of his life.
Yeah,
so.
I would guess.
What are you gonna do? He's not gonna have any freedom anymore. That's for sure. Which leads me to my next point. I was.
What a nice forced segue.
Right. Right.
Well done.
Box,
you were giving us.
It was really good too because I saw him look at the board and read that it was freedom, and he was like, "We don't have much freedom," which leads me to my next point.
What if that subject wasn't there? You won't have many med packs.
Well, the guy could have used the med pack. Apparently,
the burgAler would have benefited from a med pack.
It's not my fault.
Speaking of med packs,
it's not my fault. I spelled burglar wrong. There's supposed to be an A or a U or some shit in there.
No, you say burglar wrong. They don't spell anything wrong.
You wrote burglar.
That's how it's spelled, Toad.
Well, then I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, at least you said it and I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was watching
I can't spell very good.
The other night I was watching a movie, Commuter. The Commuter with Liam Neeson.
I'm surprised you're still watching him.
He's super hardcore anti-gun.
Anyways.
Well, to be fair, I thought the guy was a dumbass in the movie anyway, so what are you going to do?
Shocker.
No, thanks. So have you guys seen it by any chance?
Negative.
So the premise of the movie is he's on a train. And
why does anybody ride a train? Have they not seen movies? Everything bad happens on a train. There's never a good train ride.
Right.
Somebody takes over, somebody shoots it up.
That's where the villain loves to go.
It flies off a bridge over a 1,000-foot deep gorge, somebody blows up the bridge. There's no benefits to riding in a train. I'm quite convinced.
I don't know. I rode a train in England for like 5 hours. I liked it.
Oh, yeah.
I spent most of the time in a bar car, but
So the premise behind the movie is he's in.
They don't have
he's
any
in.
1,000-foot deep gorges in England.
There's some pretty steep, tall bridges though. I looked out the window at one point and I was like, "Oh my god!"
He's in financial trouble. He just lost his job that day, and he's on a train, and somebody approaches him and says, "Hey, there's 25 grand in the bathroom, and another 75 if you do this one thing for us."
I have a question.
What?
If he lost his job that day, I think he was in financial trouble quite a while ago.
That's a statement, not a question.
Toad's correct. That was a statement.
Answer the statement.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
Don't you think
and
he
here,
was in financial trouble long before
yes,
that
yes,
day?
and this is what brought up this
I was like,
my
he was definitely
this is
struggling with money if he lost his job that day and was.
right. Well, this is what brought up my train of thought.
Oh, I see what you did there. You're an idiot.
So anyway,
I want to leave.
what happened was he has 2 mortgages out. He's in.
Does he have 2 homes?
They don't know. They don't have anything to fall back on as a nest egg, and he's driving. His wife is driving a badass BMW to drop him off at the train station every morning, like an SUV BMW, $100,000 vehicle, probably at least. I would say, 80,000 for an expensive ass vehicle. And so he was saying like, "Oh, I lost this job. You can't do this to me. We don't have anything to fall back on." And I'm like, "What are you? You're living obviously paycheck to paycheck. What are you faking? Like, why do you feel the need to drive a freaking BMW and have a nice ass house? Exactly. Why do you have a massive? Why do you have 2 mortgage payments? How do you get 2 mortgages on a house, anyways?
Well, you can take out a mortgage. You can take out a second mortgage on your home. Like if you're buying an RV and you don't have, you don't want it to be a separate loan, you can take out a second mortgage on your home on the portion that you already own for money on something else. You can do that. That's a thing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
you don't like take out. You don't have to take out a mortgage to buy a house. If you have a mortgage on a home, you can take out a second mortgage on the portion that you own.
On the equity in it.
Right. And you can take money against that to purchase another item.
Okay. So anyway, he had 2 mortgages out on his home. Obviously a huge ass BMW payment. He's trying to send his kids to college. His oldest was just going to college to some ridiculously like Syracuse or some shit. Didn't have scholarships. He's just paying it. And this is where the topic is freedom versus debt. And I'm like, you're not, to me, working a 9-to-5 job that you.
Wait, hold on. I still want to know what was in the bathroom and what they wanted him to do.
There was 25 grand in the bathroom. They told him there's a person on the train that doesn't belong with a bag, and the name is Prin. All you have to do is identify this person, and we'll give you the other 75 grand. And it turns into a whole thing. But anyway,
you mean he didn't just walk up and say,
"Get on the loudspeaker.
Is your name Prin? Is your name Prin?
Would Prin please come to the front?"
Thanks. See ya.
No, it actually wasn't a horrible movie. It was entertaining, at least.
How many people did he have to shoot?
Him personally, I don't think he shot anybody in that movie. He screwed some people up, but anyway, the topic is freedom versus debt, and I like living paycheck to paycheck, working a 9-to-5 job you hate to pay for shit that you don't need. I'm gonna sound like Fight Club here. That you don't need to impress people that you don't freaking like. To me is not freedom. I mean that's. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on the subject are, but to me, that's not freedom. That's basically your shit owns you at that point. You don't have any freedom because you have to have a job. You have to go to work that day. You have to do whatever the hell they tell you to do so you can make these payments on the shit that you don't need.
Right. That's one thing that I can't stand is like when you see all these like soccer moms driving, $120,000 Escalade Premiers and just like all this high dollar stuff. It's like, who are, these people like live in like a $400,000 house to try and impress their neighbors that they don't, like, why do you feel like your social standing has to be this high.
Well, it's like, okay, so
You know, like
what you just said there.
that
uh,
their income is probably, between a husband and wife, maybe I would guess $150,000 a year between the two of them, if they live in a nice house and can afford the payments on all that stuff. But they've got to be $500,000 in debt, and they're just trying to keep the social standing up there. Our friends have,
Right.
our neighbors have, so we have to. It's like,
And you're exactly
Keeping up
you
with the
have no
Jones,
freedom. You're
you know?
enslaved to
Oh.
your shit. Your shit owns
Right.
you.
What's funny about what you just said there, keeping up with appearances, basically.
Mhm.
So a lot of the houses I used to service in a pretty ritzy area on the other side of Sioux City.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say the specific name of the place, but huge
You mean
houses.
the Dakota Dunes?
Okay, fine. Dakota Dunes. Huge houses, beautiful homes. Just there's several million. There's a couple $1 million homes out there,
Yeah.
like where there were more than $1 million.
Yeah,
But,
and they're all dumber than hammers. Cause
Some of those you go into and you're like, I pull up and I'm like, wow, this is a nice freaking house. Go in, empty. Basement, not furnished.
yeah,
Can't afford it.
right.
You basically built the facade that you live in, and you could afford some furniture for the upstairs.
Right.
And I don't know how a lot of houses were like that. And I was just like, huh, got in over your head, didn't you?
Yeah.
But
And this isn't to say that there's anything wrong with owning nice things, but
There is.
be
if
damn
you can't
sure that you
afford
can
them.
be damn sure that you can afford them, and
Yeah.
they don't end up. I mean, it really they end up owning you at that point. I mean,
So one thing that I think most people overlook is if a situation changes, if you were able to afford something, and a situation changed, and now you can't afford something.
you couldn't afford it in the first place.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, figure, like, say my truck. I pay $750 a month for
Holy
the truck,
shit,
right?
dude!
So then you say I lose my job, and now I picked up another job, but I'm making $12 an hour, and I can't afford that truck. Most people will go in over their head to keep that thing instead of
sell
just
it.
ditching it, because just for, like I was saying before, appearances.
Right.
I don't want to look like I don't have a good job. Well, you don't. Sell the thing, get a $300 Honda Accord
That gets killer gas
that
mileage.
gets awesome gas mileage, and have money to buy groceries. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing, is like when situations change, you get laid off work. You had to get, like, think of all the people at BPI that lost their jobs that have really good, high paying jobs. And then, the company gets into trouble and you lose your good job. Don't try and maintain the, social status that you had. That's the big thing that people don't understand, is living within their means.
Right.
If situations change.
Right, and also have some put away, so if your situation does change, you're not totally effed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
living payment to payment is not
yeah,
a good way to do things.
Are we financial advisors now?
You damn right.
I definitely should not be.
I also shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm pissed
Well,
poor with my
Box
money.
is
Not gonna lie.
Box is up there living in a freaking, 4,000 square foot mansion up there in Royal.
Goddamn right.
Oh wait,
That's
it's
more
a
of
tenth
a-
of that. It's
I've
400 square feet.
seen garden sheds bigger than Box's house. Like, I drove by it the one day and was gonna stop, and I was like, that's like a tetanus shot waiting to happen.
I don't want to get stuck. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is I'd rather have, a 400 square foot house, but a bunch of cool stuff than.
Actually, you wouldn't.
big-
I'd have zero room to store things.
Well, I know, but I'm saying I'd rather have a small crappy house and a, cool
Hey, it's
stuff.
not
that
crappy.
I'm not saying it's your house. Jeez. I would rather live
I
in
know.
some crappy little house and have cool stuff that I can go have fun with, versus having this big fancy house. Because if you want to go do stuff, you can't, because you can't afford stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because you have this expensive house. It's like, I don't know. I don't like spending that much time inside my house anyway. I'd rather be out doing stuff.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I don't have a real nice house, but my shop is damn nice.
Yeah.
That's where I spend the majority of my time anyway.
Right. You know, it's all. I don't know. Some people care way too much about appearances for others. I think.
Yeah.
How
Pretty
are you
much.
going to segue this one, Sam?
I have no idea yet.
When we were building,
if they had
the
extra
inside
money,
of this
if
shop,
they had extra money, they could buy med packs to be prepared. Speaking of which, our next segment is about med packs.
So do you guys carry a med pack with you?
yeah.
Tourniquet, shit like that to work. Well, just keep it in your truck or what?
It's in my hunting backpack.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, like on a daily basis.
Mine's
I
always
have a
in my
first
truck.
aid kit in my truck.
And your personal vehicle?
Work truck.
So you don't carry one on a daily basis.
He drives his work truck
Drive my
every
truck
day.
every day. So yeah, I do, Sam.
Well,
You can go sit on a cactus.
I keep mine in my truck unless we're at the range. If I don't bring my truck back there, it goes into my range bag.
Right. Well, there's been so much, obviously, in the last several months. There's been a lot of these mass shootings, and people, everybody wants to do something. Well, I think one of the biggest things that you can really do is learn how to use a freaking tourniquet. Learn how to, because in a lot of
general
these,
first aid needs
right,
to be
and in a lot of these situations, a lot of the times, they ended up bleeding out when if they had a freaking tourniquet on, could have saved their life. So the problem is carrying one, like if carrying one on a daily basis as far as on your persons. Like, I've seen like pouches and shit that you can.
Those aren't so much for EDC as they are for on the range or duty belts.
Well, I have seen some that are intended for on the range, for everyday carry.
They make like
Live the Creed is a company that
Warrior Poet Society has a good. I know his situation's a little different, being ex-military, and he's very conscious of what he carries on him, and always has like a pretty decent first aid kit. But he has a good video on like his everyday carry first aid, and I think he uses like an ankle wrap first aid, so it like goes under his jeans and it's on his ankle.
Right.
And I think his mindset makes it like that's a very necessary piece of equipment that he carries with him every day, and he is on the range pretty much every day. Typical guy goes to work, goes to Shields after work, comes home. I don't think for most people they would be like, oh, I have to have this ankle first aid kit on me every day, but
right,
they make
a lot more.
Yeah,
minimal.
You don't need all that stuff.
Right.
You need some gauze and
a
shit.
tourniquet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's
bandage.
Something they make them vacuum sealed too. Just quick,
so
small little pack that you can stuff in your back
SWAT
pocket.
tee, I think, is one of them.
Yeah.
But this Live the Creed company, it used to be Hedgehog Tactical. Doesn't matter. Live the Creed Tactical now is Live the Creed is the actual name of the company, I guess. But they make a back pocket thing. You can just slip it in your back pocket with a tourniquet and all the essential shit that you need that say you run into that situation. But I think that's one of the most overlooked things, and I even myself, I'm guilty. I have a pack in my truck, but when you're in an establishment or in the mall or whatever, you're carrying your gun with you, but you don't have any. Say you got to use it, and somebody ends up shot that wasn't supposed to be shot, or somebody else shoots somebody, I think a lot of concealed carriers are woefully underprepared for that. And that's one thing I want to take as a med class.
Yeah.
That's been something I've intended to take for a long time.
Yeah. Like just a general first aid.
Yeah.
Right.
I think RevTech in their range orientation class, they have
a first aid.
They require trauma. They have a trauma class, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's real in depth, but just like tourniquets and shit.
Right.
I took a first aid class years ago.
Yeah.
Probably 10 years ago when I was with Plymouth County Search and Rescue.
Yeah.
Volunteered with them.
I
I did it.
I took it. I was like certified in first aid and CPR and AED or AED or whatever, and
Yep.
I was certified in all that stuff, but I never kept it up.
Right.
You know, I did all my certifications the first time and never recertified. That's something that I definitely would like to, just at least a general first aid. And
I feel like this is
CPR.
something we should all do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we need to do, including professional training with
Right.
firearms.
Yeah.
Professional help. We do
Yes.
need that.
If we could have a psychiatrist out on the range one week, that'd be.
Oh God, no! We're all going to be locked up after that.
But no, I think that is one thing that most people do overlook is general. I mean, even just a general first aid, knowing how to apply a tourniquet, how to apply a compression
Right.
bandage, and things like that. That's CPR. Those are all really, really life-saving, important skills to know.
Yeah. For sure.
And having
for sure.
professional training in that, I think, is something that everybody should do.
Yeah. So a few months ago, remember when we were shooting out? We had a range day, and it wasn't raining, but it was.
No, I don't remember.
It was moist, I should say. I think
Moister
it
than an
was back
oyster?
in February or March. It was rather moist that day. It was like foggy and shitty.
Yeah.
But anyways, I put this gun, this Cerakoted gun, and that 1911. I put those in my case and brought them home, and I forgot to open them up and dry them off. Well, that 1911 got covered in rust. It was 2 days it was spent in there, and it's rusted to beat hell. Just surface rust shit.
You need to buy stainless guns.
Well, it turns out I might know somebody who can coat it, and we'll fix that problem. So anyways, but it doesn't have. I like 1911 with rails on them. I just like how they look better for whatever reason it is. I just like how they look.
So why didn't you buy one?
Yeah. What?
So why didn't you buy one?
Because they're more expensive, and I just wanted 1911. Well, I figured I'm a gun guy. I better own a 1911. I never shoot the damn thing. It's a 45. Obviously I don't ever shoot it. The only reason.
So would you say this 1911 is just for appearances, Sam?
Well, 100%. Yeah. So
Taurus.
Well, I'm a gun guy. I didn't own a 1911. I was like, well, damn it, I better get a 1911.
I don't own one.
Me either.
You really should, though. I mean, they are nice guns.
So
don't have anything against them.
So I ended up going with a cheaper Taurus, which, I mean, it's a fine gun. There's nothing wrong with it. Plus, it's 1911. I mean, what the hell is going to go wrong with it, But it's rusted.
It gets all rusty.
It's rusted to beat hell. So I'm going to rip it apart and what?
I heard they jam a lot.
Oh yeah, it's Jam City.
I've never had mine jammed.
They're giant piles of crap. But
okay, move on before this develops.
But
I will fucking murder you in your sleep, Glock boy.
But so it's all rusted to beat hell. I'm gonna get what I want to do on it is I'm gonna end up milling the slide, just give some aesthetic appeal to it. But then I'm also gonna throw a rail on it, and I haven't done any research at all into the. Well, I Googled it once and spent about 3 minutes looking at shit. But apparently,
you can see how prepared we are for our podcast.
No, I'm just talking. I'm going to add a rail to this somehow. I'm not exactly sure how it's done yet. I know people have done it. So I don't know if they make a rail that just sits on the bottom there with a nice rounded surface, so it'll made up real clean,
right.
And then I can just drill and tap through the frame itself and get that,
right.
As long as the screws are countersunk and Loctite the shit out of them. I would think that's how it's done, or I mean, otherwise you could spot weld it. You could spot weld it, but I don't think that's really.
It sounds
needed.
like it's just going to be awful to me,
dude. No.
I mean, why not just buy another 1911?
I mean,
because I don't want another 1911.
That is an excuse to buy another gun.
I don't want another 1911.
So
I have no use for it.
I don't need an excuse to buy another gun.
You don't have a use for a 1911, but yet you need to put a rail on the one that
You're damn right.
that you don't shoot.
You're damn right.
Why don't you just trade that one in for one?
Because it needs coated before it's traded in anyways. It's rusted to beat hell. I wouldn't get diddly shit out of it. There's no point in
You're not
trading
gonna
it.
get diddly shit if you spot weld a rail to it.
I'll tell you what, leave it.
It won't
leave
look
it,
like it's.
I would. I
if
would
you
just
leave
get
it
the
rusty,
surface
I'll give you
rust
$100 for it.
blow me.
if you just get the rust off it and re-blue it,
Why would
then trade
I
it.
own a freaking Cerakote business? Why the hell would I blue it? Bluing is shit.
To trade it, Sam.
So why would I pay somebody a bunch more money than if I can do it for free? Why would I pay somebody to
Blue
put a
it yourself
subpar?
for free.
No,
That's what I'm saying. Don't take it to somebody to have them re-blue it. Saying you can re-blue it.
that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I own a Cerakote company. I'm not gonna blue a gun.
How many more times are you going to tell everybody that you own a Cerakote
I own a
company?
damn Cerakote company. But anyways, no, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm not gonna trade. But I'm gonna have to rip the whole damn thing apart anyways.
Yeah.
Lucky
I'm
for
gonna,
you, though,
I'm
it's
gonna
pretty
coat
easy.
it. So what's the big deal about slapping a
I don't see
and
any problem
I
with
would
it.
bet you guys, I would bet you that when I'm done with it, you won't be able to tell that it was an add-on.
Ooh, there's a sweet one.
I almost guarantee it.
Oh my God, that's miserable.
It bolts onto your trigger guard.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Oh man.
Cheap pieces of crap.
Is it polymer?
I can just about bet it is.
Yeah.
Probably. I would bet you, but I'm going to take this opportunity to make a video out of it.
I think drilling and tapping into the bottom of the frame, I think, is how I would go. But I guess I don't know what they offer.
That's what we had to do to put my a 1913 rail on my 357, so I could mount a scope on it. Was drill and tap it.
Yeah, I'll figure out a way to do it, and I would bet you when I'm done with it, you guys won't even. You'll be like, "Damn, that's badass," and I'll be like,
I
"Well,
bet
thank
not.
you."
I am looking forward to that.
If I
day.
ever see you with a 1911, I know it's that one, and I'm gonna be like, "Boy, that thing's a real giant piece of garbage."
But we won't, because I haven't seen that thing since the day you bought it.
I took it out and shot it
Wait,
once.
what's with this shoddy ass rail on the bottom? This thing looks like
You
shit.
won't even know. You won't even know. You guys have seen my craftsmanship. It'll be superior
Your
work.
craftsmanship.
I've also
I didn't
seen,
say I could talk good. I could say I could craft shit good.
I also know your attention to detail is good, but your time frame for working on your own stuff,
Sucks.
yeah, so it'll be like 7 years from now. He'll be like, check out this 1911 with this rail on the bottom.
And you guys won't even recall this conversation, so you'd be like,
And it'll
"Damn,
be-
that's badass." I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Be like, is this the one you talked about when you were like in your 30s and now you're in your 50s and you finally got it done?
Just think you're hilarious, Sasha. Just think you're hilarious.
Well, Sam, I sure hope you get some training on how to.
Hey, Toad, we already
Add those
talked
rails
about
on
we
there.
already talked about that.
Why do we skip over it?
We already talked about it. Remember?
You fucking alien.
See, I put that thing way up there, the arrow.
Oh my God.
Speaking of aliens, Sam's got an alien gear giveaway he wants to talk about.
Oh yeah, I did a. You guys.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea.
I'm sure you guys are all well aware. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you've heard of Alien Gear Holsters. Box, would you say they're one of the biggest in holster companies in the country?
They're up there.
They gotta
I don't
be.
know.
They gotta be up there in the top.
The ones that
They're
are
probably in
the
the
ones
top
that are
five.
up there are like Uncle Mike's and shit like that. They're just like
Oh yeah, yeah. I suppose the shit.
the stuff that they sell at Walmart.
Yeah, you're probably right. Anyways, Alien Gear
It's
is a
getting
rather.
out of control over here.
They're a rather large holster company, but I did an AR that I painted up and
You Cerakoted it, Sam. Remember, you own a Cerakote business.
Not
You didn't paint it.
God, why do I deal with you guys on a daily basis? Yes, so yes,
if you
I
guys didn't know, this podcast is sponsored by Shyworks, the
A
Cerakote
Cerakote
business,
business.
owned by Sam Shire.
Well, you're telling me to You're telling me to blue a fucking gun?
Oh, we're
That's the
still-
dumbest shit I ever heard of. Why would I blue a gun? Bluing is subpar shit.
You blow all other sorts of things.
What was that?
Oh my God. Oh, Box is on a roll. Last few days, he has really been on top of it.
I'm crying
Yeah.
right now.
Sam
that was
didn't.
good.
He doesn't appreciate it.
Just hilarious.
He has
You
this
guys
look
just-
of
He
pure.
just
and-
didn't hear it.
He didn't.
Well, it sounded like he stumbled over the words, just like I
I
usually
almost
did.
did.
See, if I mispronounce one word, if I stumble just barely, you guys are like, "Hey, you stupid blob! What the?" Just gives me shit to no end. He can't even pronounce blue, and you don't even say a damn thing to him.
He wasn't trying to pronounce blue. He said you do blow all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's why we laughed.
You're,
so
Well-
just, you're just old and you can't hear that.
No, he stumbled over it. He even said that he stumbled over it. You goat ropers.
hard. Oh shit! So back to the giveaway there.
Well, hell, I don't even know what I was talking about anymore.
Alien Gear Holsters is doing a giveaway, and Sam coded an AR in a flag pattern,
Yeah.
American flag pattern,
United
with
we
the red, white,
stand.
and blue. Has kind of like the battle worn finish on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
high spots are taken down. Turned out really good. That's going on Alien Gear's giveaway for Veterans Day.
Yep. November 11th.
November
that'll be given
11th.
away. So.
So keep an eye out. If you don't follow Alien Gear, you can check them out on like Facebook, their website. All the giveaway information is up on their
Yep.
social
Yep.
media and their website. So
Yep.
you guys can check that out, how to enter to win that. And they got some other stuff going in with it as well.
Yeah,
They
they'll be-
obviously got like their holster and
Yeah. There's some other, and I don't know what else exactly they're giving away. But there'll be a bunch of stuff you can
Mhm.
win. So it'll be a pretty cool deal. Another thing is our hats will be here hopefully before too terrible long. We got those on order.
I think I must have been hypnotized at some point in my life because you said hats and I immediately grabbed and adjusted my hat. I didn't realize until I was putting it back on my head. I was
We'll
like,
try
why
it
did I
again.
do that?
Hat.
Johnson, it looks like you could use a new hat actually.
Why?
Yeah, you literally wear
looking
that
kinda-
exact same hat every time
it's
I
looking
see you.
kinda
That hat
grody.
looks fine.
It's been so covered in grease and oil that it is officially waterproof. Why would I change it now?
It's
Wear
better
this
now
bitch
than
out
the
in
day
rain
you
and
bought
everything
it.
just beads off of it.
Never mind that. It's a mesh.
No, I had a new hat. And my wife and I were out riding motorcycles the beginning of this summer, and I won't go into details, but somehow it was Spray's fault. Somehow
gonna say, sounds like you're blaming your wife.
It flew off, and there was no saving it. It like flew out into the ditch. I like looked in my mirror, and it was like flying into the ditch, and we were going really fast, and I was like, I had already like stopped to pick it up at one point earlier that day, and I was like, no, I'm over it. So I went back to
Sure.
this hat, and my biggest problem is like I blow the buttons off of these sometimes. Like, see how this one's coming apart? That's the only thing that kills my hats.
Subpar hats, man.
I tell
Subpar
you
hats.
what.
And that will not be the case with the Life Short Live Free hats. Super high quality. Make sure you pick yours up.
Shyworks.com. Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. I don't even give a crap today. I'm shamelessly
You're
plugging
a
it.
real,
Yeah, we need to.
You're a real dumbass. You know that. Speaking of
God, we don't
dumbass,
even call it Dumbass of the Day anymore. Why
What
did I
It's
write that
called
down?
Florida Man. Or yeah, not
Ruin
Florida Man. It's called
everything.
What
You're
a- what a
three names
douche.
behind.
What a douche.
We need to come up with some cool sound effect for what a douche segment.
Yeah.
Skadoosh.
Yeah. Who is the
We need
who
a
is
little
the
sound bite.
who is
to
the
Who is the douche
douchebag today?
that.
Jonathan, you're the douche commander. Don't you have this information?
I am the douche commander. So there was a Florida man, surprise, who has been sentenced to serve 10 days in jail for sleeping through jury duty. He was called for jury duty, got selected, obviously, and slept through it. So I can't imagine that the meeting that he was supposed to be at was that early in the morning. Like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe?
Was this by chance a 72-year-old man who had just recently shot someone in his front yard?
No. This was, he looks like a younger guy. Like probably, he's definitely not 30 years old. But the dude slept through his jury duty. And I laughed because I was looking at the articles, and all of the articles like show a picture of him just like sitting there talking to, his face. Like I think one of them had like his mugshot for when he was, booked into jail to serve his time, and the other ones were just him sitting on a couch talking to the reporter. And CNN like made him look like this poor victim of this ridiculous crime, like had him like crying and stuff. But it's like, yeah, you idiot, that's an important thing. You have to wake up for that. That is against the law everywhere to miss jury duty.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate. Maybe the power went off that night, and his freaking alarm didn't go off.
Sam,
I don't
he's
know
got a
if you know
cell
this,
phone.
Sam,
Nobody has alarm clocks
Nobody
anymore.
uses an alarm clock unless you're 70 years.
I use an alarm clock every morning.
Like I said, unless you're 70 years.
I'm
old.
34.
I also use an alarm clock. Actually,
I
have to set mine across the room because it used to sit on the stand next to my bed. So I have like 6 alarms set on my phone, and then I have the one across the room, which basically forces
would be Toad.
Forces me to get up.
Toad would be the what a douche of the week.
I would
if he were called for jury duty.
Oh God!
Hey, I didn't have to go.
Almost
last month.
All right, that was good.
It was a close call.
So yeah, he's gonna be sitting there in the county jail, and some hard ass be sitting. Hey, what are you in for? Oh, I overslept.
Right. Yeah.
He's gonna be somebody's bitch.
So would that have been a mistrial then? How do they go about that?
It depends if
Or
it
they
was
just
actually
put
if
it
he was
off
just
and-
reporting for jury duty and didn't show up, or if he was actually already on the jury. Did it say?
I didn't see anything that said definitively whether he like missed the trial, or if it was just a meeting for selections.
Chips.
Fritos.
You could have just said
That's a
yes.
corn chip.
So unprofessional.
That's a chip. It says on the bag.
Box, if you didn't notice, this is not exactly a professional.
You yell at me for
podcast.
eating chips all the time on here.
I
have to
just
put
pick
them
up this
away.
bag and
Should
make
we
all
all
kinds
eat
of racket
chips?
with it. Here, have a Dorito. Let me get these to you.
I can edit that out. It's cool. Well,
Yeah, what a douche.
yeah, he was I bet you he's not going to do that again.
No, he's not gonna be.
Have you guys ever
selected
been
for-
selected for jury duty?
No.
I've been.
What?
Yeah, I guess.
Try again.
It's a simple yes or no question, Toad. You either have it, you either haven't. Have you ever got a notice in the mail that says you have to report to jury duty?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I got a phone call from the ATF.
Well, that wasn't jury duty. That would have been a would have been a witness.
That was subpoenaed.
Yeah.
And you would have had a what do they call it? A hit put out on him for the rest of his life. That son of a bitch testified
Real
against
happy that
us.
guy ended up pleading out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've never been.
I didn't have to sit
Summoned
on the
for
jury,
jury
but I
duty.
had to go to the courthouse and
Go through the selection stuff.
yeah.
And you didn't get selected.
Nope.
Yeah.
So basically, if you got to go for jury duty, you just act like a raging douchebag.
Yep.
Like just
There
act like
was-
a complete
that actually doesn't
racist,
work
hateful
anymore.
person.
There was somebody at work telling me about a jury duty. They had to go, attend, for the selection or whatever for jury duty. And one of the guys was saying his excuse for getting out of jury duty was that he had house guests that needed tended to. Well, then they were asking him, like, are these house guests unable to, fend for themselves? Is it small children? What is? Well, they're my cats. This dude had like 6 cats.
That's gonna be box in 30 years.
and that was his house guests and basically the judge was like, sit down and shut up.
Maybe they were special cats and they needed
I
tending
think
to.
they were special cats to that guy.
Probably.
But yeah, he had house guests that needed tended to, and they were his cats.
Jesus.
There was I won't say who it was, but a guy that I still know, but he got out of it one time because they asked him, "Hey, would you have any problem serving on this jury?" And he's like, "Yep." The prosecutor, I fucking hate her. Yep. See you later.
Yeah, I would see where they would be like, oh yeah, we're not having that
I
guy.
hate your face.
Yeah.
Well, that would definitely do it. But
I don't know what it is about your face, but every time I see
It
it,
just screams guilty.
I just want to punch it. Every time I see your face, I just want to punch it. Yeah, that would not be a beneficial person to have on the jury, I don't think.
no. But
You know everybody who gets selected. Not a damn one of them wants to be there.
no, but it's our civic duty, so
Well, I agree with that, but God, that would just be miserable.
I think it might be kind of interesting.
I don't.
I think Mom actually enjoys it.
She's been on it several times. She was on one.
Does she have a lot of hobbies, or
Oh, yeah, she stays busy.
is that one of her hobbies?
What's your hobby? I stay busy.
No, I mean jury
Jury.
duty. What's one of your hobbies? Oh, I like being on jury duty. What?
I think it'd be kind of well. It depends on the case. If it was just a guy like somebody getting sued, or well, I guess that's not a jury, but say something boring like, a
Unpaid
guy slipped and
traffic
fell
tickets.
on somebody's freaking sidewalk and
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, something like a murder investigation or a
My boss was on like a grand jury, like a federal grand jury once.
oh yeah,
Got selected and had to go through all of it. He said it was miserable.
yeah.
But
I'm
at least
sure.
he made like $40 a day. So
Right.
Yeah, they really it's really worth your
Yeah.
trouble.
That
Yeah.
ATF agent was telling me, he's like, yeah, there's a witness coordinator thing, and they'll get hold of you and put you up in a hotel. And
There's a per diem. It's $12
he goes,
a day.
there is a per diem. He goes, and I'll be honest, it's not much.
you
I'm like,
don't say.
well, this is fucking great. I got to take 3 days off work, drive all the way down there, 5-hour drive, and testify in this stupid trial, and you're not gonna pay me shit for it.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we're gonna call this one an episode.
And we're gonna grill some Wagyu burgers.
Yeah, Toad brought us some Wagyu beef. What exactly is Wagyu, anyways? Is it
It's
just a
really,
special breed?
really
of...
expensive.
Right,
I
but they're-
honestly don't know. I just know
It's
Isn't
just
it
a-
Australian?
it's Japanese, I believe.
Japanese. Like
I know,
a
like
breed of...
Right,
Yeah.
but there's herds. There's Wagyu. There's
cattle,
like
I think
cattle in the
something to do with,
States,
like,
right?
the
Yeah,
way
I'm
they-
saying it's a breed that originally came from...
Yeah, and
Right.
like,
It's any of the 4 Japanese breeds of beef.
Yeah.
yeah, and like one like ribeye roast of Wagyu that's grade A5 Japanese is like $1,300.
Yeah. I've seen...
Hmm.
There's it's not Wagyu, but it's like it's the marbling is as good as a Wagyu.
Kobe beef, is it?
No, it's I can't remember what it was. I want to say it's like it's like an Australian breed of cattle, but
Hmm.
that's why I was thinking Australian. But it's a little leaner than Wagyu beef, but it's supposed to be just about as good, and it's a lot less expensive.
This burger was actually customer get. He bought 2 whole Wagyu beef cattle.
Jesus.
And there was some guy in Nebraska had raised them. These aren't this isn't Japanese Wagyu, and he gave me 12 pounds of it. Well, it's $13 a pound. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's good. I honestly don't really. It's definitely a richer burger.
Yeah.
But taste
I
wise,
feel like for ground beef that doesn't seem to make sense. Like
Yeah.
if you're getting like a ribeye or like a tomahawk steak,
Yeah.
like a big nice cut of steak, I think it would make a difference. But in like ground beef, I just don't.
no, it's like you ever had a Culver's butter burger?
Yeah, I hate Culver's.
Never ate at Culver's.
Ugh.
My buddy got sick there. He was in the hospital for like 5 days because he got food poisoning. from
Yeah,
that
well, I
place.
feel like that's from one
Well,
specific location, and
then-
then rats piss all over their burger. That's
No, that happens at all of them.
no, that's all of them.
No,
Okay.
Steve.
Did I ever
You guys
tell you-
remember Steve?
Stifler?
Yeah.
Yeah. He spent like
Well, that's
4 or 5
just
days
like
in the hospital.
No, we call him Stifler.
that's just like oh, what the hell's the place that just closed down?
KFC?
No, the buffet.
Oh, Golden Corral.
Yeah, that wasn't a location specific. That was just all of them. They all gave you atomic diarrhea
That
and
place
or
is-
food poisoning.
Well,
Every single one of them was like that.
I was
did I
on-
ever tell you what happened to me in Iron Hill in the mall?
Is that the one?
You had a cockroach in your food or something?
Yeah. So
Oh no!
that was me and Tasha's first date when we met. We met there after we talked for a while, and then so we met up there, had dinner, and obviously it's been almost 3 years, so it went well. But we went back for our 1-year anniversary, and I ordered water, and then we got the same thing that we got on our first date.
Oh, that's
How
so
the hell did you
cute.
remember
So
that?
romantic.
Because it
No
was
kidding.
amazing. It was like a shrimp sandwich, and I could have eaten 10 of them.
A shrimp sandwich?
Yeah, it was like a po' boy.
I don't remember Bubba talking about shrimp sandwiches
Shut up, let me
on
tell my
in
story.
Forrest Gump.
Fucking hippie.
Fried shrimp,
But I'm looking down at
grilled shrimp.
my glass of water, and I'm like, what is that? And I work in pest control, so this seemed fitting, I guess. I poke it with the straw, and it pops up from under the ice, and it's a German cockroach, and I'm like, and Tasha's like,
In your water.
In
of
my
all
water.
Things.
And
Like,
Tasha's
not
like-
in the food, in the glass
Mhm.
of water.
Tasha's like, what's wrong? I was like, pointing at it. Oh, so
Well-
I didn't make a big scene, you know.
I would have.
I
I'd have
called
thrown that bitch on the floor.
I called the manager over, and I was like, "Do you know what that is?" She's like, "Oh God." She's like, "We have a problem here." I was like, "Obviously, it's
You
a
don't
That's
say.
not that's not what you tell somebody. We have a problem here.
Right.
You
She's
say, oh, I don't know where that could have possibly came from.
Exactly. You at least
She's
try
like-
and cover your
she's like-
ass.
We have somebody come in and spray every month, and then we just can't get rid of them. And I'm like, "Here's my card, and I'm not paying for any of this."
All right.
And then I was like, "Can I get a beer to wash it down?" Yep, we'll make it right. And they did. They were cool about it. I
Yeah.
think they were happy I didn't make a big scene, you know. And you know,
But
for
still, when you know you have a problem, like that's the manager's job is to be like, hey,
and
this is an issue. We need to close this restaurant for a week and fumigate this son of a bitch.
the thing is,
Like,
you know, there's a lot of places that I know that I won't name right now that I won't eat at for that
Yeah,
specific reason.
just don't tell me, Toad. I don't want these places
And,
ruined.
And it's not necessarily that they're dirty. That's the
Right.
first thing people think of when something like that happens, and it's not the case at all, because a lot of times when you get roaches or bed bugs, you picked them up somewhere else. And in the case of roaches in restaurants, most of them come in on shipments from warehouses.
right.
And hell, I found bed bugs in casino chairs. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's not that you're a dirty person or a dirty business. It's just unfortunate that you get them, and it just happened to be me that got it in a fucking glass of water
Right.
after I've murdered millions of those things over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that
There's
just
karma
cracks me
coming
up.
back to bite me.
Well, we've
Well,
been.
how the hell do they get it? Is it like in the ice? You know,
It
in,
I
had
was
to have
trying to
been
figure
in
that
the
in the big
because I've
ice
seen
maker.
them come out of faucets too. Like when you turn it on, they fall out with the water. So it either had to have been on the drink dispenser or it was in the ice.
I think it almost has to be in the ice. Like in a faucet, I could understand, but like in one of those CO2 drink guns
Yeah,
with water, I can't see it being in there.
I don't know.
But in like the big, you know, commercial ice maker, I guess I could see it being in the tub of ice.
I don't know. Well, we've been rambling about absolutely nothing for the last 12 minutes.
This is
We've
good
been-
stuff.
I don't know if you know this, but we've been rambling for absolutely nothing
About
for an hour
13
and
episodes
12
now.
minutes. Yeah.
Well, we can keep rambling, but we're gonna call this one an episode. If you're still listening, we appreciate it, guys.
What else would we call it?
This is out on a Thursday.
Installment?
This is out on a Thursday. If you look yesterday, we also published a range day, so
And on
check
this
that out.
installment of Life
Also,
Short of the
check
Free.
out Ballistic Imagery. He does all our videography. I say the word wrong every time. I don't give a shit anymore. That's just how it is.
Sam's just going to start his own language.
I think what
Damn
happens is
right.
he spends so much time alone with himself all day, but the only person to talk to is his dog, that she just doesn't check him on his word
Right.
usage.
Yeah.
You need to go back to school and learn your verbs.
She's a lot more polite than you sons of bitches. But anyways, thanks for sticking with us, guys. And yeah, I think that's about it for this one. But till we talk to you next time, remember, life's short, live free. God bless. Don't let me get away with anything, you sons of bitches.
and work
Why
on your
wouldn't we?
verbs.
Call it an episode. What else are we going to call
An installment.
it? I guess.